नमस्कार दोस्तों, प्रोफेसर DN मौर्या के शिपिंग पाठशाला में आपका स्वागत है। वेलकम टू प्रोफेसर DN मौर्या शिपिंग पाठशाला। टुडे आई शैल टॉक ऑन ISPS कोड। ISPS stand for International Ships and Port Facility Security Code, which has been developed by United Nations, and this deals with the security measures to be adopted by the ports and ships throughout the world. Origin of ISPS starts back to 2001. That was the 9/11 attack. 9/11 attack means you are talking about attack by Al-Qaeda terrorists on 11 September 2001 at Twin Tower, that is World Trade Center in New York City of United States of America. Due to this particular attack, about 3,000 people died on the spot, and property worth $10 billion were damaged. The total direct and indirect loss estimated to be roughly $30 to $35 billion. After this, the United Nations Security Council met and they took the review of the situation. So they decided that there must be some measures to avoid similar attack on ports and ships. Accordingly, they set up a group of IMO working group, that is the International Maritime Organization dealing with the ships. So IMO group worked out measures. They came out with a code, we call it ISPS code. That was a draft code. This came out in the year 2002, that was December 2002. And this was adopted by the members, that is we call it contracting government, in July 2004. So from July 2004, this particular code is in place. All the contracting governments are supposed to follow this particular code. You will see this one through a diagram, how the attack took place and then how the things changed, and we came to start with the ISPS code. To understand 9/11 attack, let us look at this image. This is the World Trade Center. This is the tower number 1, North Tower. Tower number 2, South Tower. On 11 September 2001, 4 passenger aircraft took off from east coast of USA and bound for California. They all were hijacked by 11 terrorists belonging to Al-Qaeda. The first flight, that was the Boeing 767, this crashed into 92nd to 98th floor of tower number, that is the North Tower of WTC, and time was 8:47 a.m. Office opens at about 9 a.m. So though no much attendance, people were not so much, employees were not there, so they were escaped. The casualty could have been very heavy in case the attack would have been taken after 9 a.m. So after this particular attack, the firemen were called to put in the fire, to extinguish the fire, and then the other person, that is the rescue teams, were also called. So firemen were called to put out the fire, and the rescue persons were called to rescue the people who are strangled into the tower. When this was going on, we'll find what we saw, that second aircraft came and this hit into the South Tower of World Trade Center. And this particular floor where this was hit was 77 to 82nd floor. So within 1 hour and 42 minutes, both the tower collapsed, killing about 3,000 people on the spot, and property damage was estimated to be about $10 billion at that time, which rose up to about $30 billion, that is direct and indirect loss due to this particular attack. The third plane crashed into US State's defense headquarters, that is the Pentagon, with minor damage to the wall, so there were no much damage to the Pentagon. The fourth one is landed into the green field because the terrorists were empowered by the passengers. Now what is the point here? I am trying to make it that 2 aircraft having a fuel of 38,000 liters each, this has resulted in so much of damage. If same thing, this type of things, let us say the fuel capacity is very high, then what could happen? Like in case of tankers, Ship tankers, they carry capacity, the fuel capacity, which is going to be something like, let us say, 50,000 CBM, like the ship carrying, tanker carrying a LNG or LPG of 50,000 ton. So the impact could be very, very high. Now let us look into another image which is showing a ship which is positioned near to the port city. Look at this image. This is a gas tanker carrying 50,000 CBM of LPG. 50,000 CBM, 1 CBM is equal to 1000 liter. So you can just think what could be the intensity of the damage, or the you can see the volume of the damage in case this particular tanker is sabotaged. Just 2 aircraft carrying 38,000 liter of the fuel each, resulted into damage of so much of property, $10 billion, and on the spot casualty of 3,000 people. Here is 50,000 CBM multiplied by 1,000 liter. So if this particular accident or the attack happens near to the city, you know what could be the extent of the damage. Or if the city is not there, let us say ship cannot go near to the city, then at least there will be port, big port. So port also, this could also damage the port infrastructure, that is the berth, key, equipment, that is the cranes on jetty and the people working, as well as the ships which are opposite or near to this particular vessel, this particular tanker. So that is why the United Nations Security Council, they felt immediate need to do something so that whatever accident, whatever attack was taken through the aircraft, that should not be repeated through the sea transport. So United Nations Security Council met immediately within a gap of 7 days, and in the same month, that is on 28th December 2001, they brought out a resolution asking the IMO, that is the International Maritime Organization, to prepare a code so that the security of the ships and the port could be taken care of. So when IMO was discussing how to provide security to the ships and port due to terror attack, they also took note of the prevailing situation of sea pirates. Sea pirates were very predominant in Suez Canal, where the people, the pirates from the Somalia, they used to come and attack the ship. You can see the Suez Canal connecting Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea has got a length of 120 miles and width of 205 meters. If the ship's width is about 30 meters or so, you can say the only area left to the left and right of the ship is 100 meters. So any sea robber can take a speedboat and try to enter from any one side. There can be one number and can be multiple boats they can take together and try to enter into the ship. They enter the ship and then capture the master, and they demand the ransom running into hundreds and thousands of $millions from the shipping company, the company which owns the vessel. To overcome this problem, this particular issue was also discussed with IMO, who came out with the ISPS code, and they provided some relief to the ship by allowing them to keep a security officer, ship security officer. Ship security officer is the person who is trained on the dealing with the arms and ammunition. Means he knows how to fire the weapons, how to use the weapon. So there is no separate position for the security officer, ship security officer. Generally, a person already deployed on the ship is designated to work as a ship security officer. Mostly, he is the person from the Indian Navy, because people coming from, after retiring from the Navy, they join the ship merchant vessel. So they work as electrical officer, electronics officer, radio officer, or even engine room officer, that is the engineers in the engine room. So they are assigned the specific work to work as a security officer. They are trained and then they are given instruction how to deal with the pirates in case something happens, they try to come. But the details about deployment of the security officer and use of the firearms, as well as deployment of private security personnel, what we call them private contracted armed security personnel, PCASP, This is dealt in details in the IMO's MSc circular dated 25th May 2012. Use of arms and ammunitions by the security person or by the ship security officer is only in very, very rare cases. That is only to protect themselves or to the crew, otherwise they cannot use it. But at least now there is a ship security officer who is armed and who knows how to use it. So he can use this one in case of emergency as per the circular provided by the IMO. Now we will come to details and discuss about the applicability of ISPS, then what is the implementation and what are the various safety, what we call it, safety security levels at port and ships declared by the local administrative authority. Okay, coming to applicability of ISPS. ISPS will apply to all passenger ships including high speed craft. This is as per the ISPS code. This applies to all passenger ships including high speed craft. Then cargo ships above 500 GT gross tonnage, mobile offshore drilling units and ports servicing ships of international voyage. It means a port where the ships are coming from foreign country are also supposed to be ISPS compliant. So four things as per ISPS code, that is all passenger ships and high speed craft. Second, cargo ships above 500 GT. Third, mobile offshore drilling units. Fourth, ports serving ships of international voyage. And these are the things as per the ISPS code. Now this has been modified in India because ISPS provides the contracting government, that is the concerned government, to make the changes in applicability of ISPS. So making a change means should not be on the lower side, this can only be increased. So in India this is increased, that is by Government of India through Director General of Shipping. So in India this applies to all the ships registered under Merchant Shipping Act and all the ports which are servicing the Merchant Shipping Act vessel. It means vessel registered under MS Act, if they are serviced by a port, that particular port has to be ISPS compliant. So indirectly you can say that all the ports in India are supposed to be ISPS compliant, whether they are servicing the ship coming from foreign country, ships having an international voyage or not, but any ships registered under MS Act going to that port, it means port has to be ISPS compliant. So these are the two things added in India. Now coming to what is not applicable, what are the types of ships and ports which are not coming under the ISPS. So it says that ISPS not applicable to all naval ships, that is the naval warships. Then ships owned by the contracting government. Contracting government means the nation which has signed on the, who is signatory to ISPS code. So that is the ships owned by the contracting government. Then fishing vessel, wooden craft and pleasure yachts. So these are the five things to which ISPS does not apply. First one, naval warships. Second one, ships owned by the government. Third one, fishing boats. Fourth one, pleasure yachts. And fifth one, wooden craft. So this is about the applicability of ISPS code in India. Okay, now I shall brief on security setup under ISPS. ISPS is at the international level, at UN level. Under ISPS, each country has to have its own security organization. So security setup in India is like this. The first one, the topmost authority is the contracting government. Contracting government means Government of India, because India is signatory to ISPS code. Now in India, we say Government of India is signatory to the ISPS code, so government is responsible. But how, which government responsible, which department, which ministry, it is not possible to put everything in the name of government. So there must be somebody, some organization to work on behalf of government. So for this, we have got a organization, we call it Director General of Shipping. So this Director General of Shipping organization is known as designated authority, designated by the government of India, by the contracting government. So DG Shipping will take care of everything pertaining to ISPS security arrangement in India. Then after this, there is organization, we call it RSO, Recognized Security Organization. This is not mandatory for all the countries. Countries may decide to have a RSO or they may not. Generally, this organization comes in picture when the designated authority finds very difficult to carry out the entire checks, when they may not have so much of manpower, so much of resources, or sometimes they may not have so much of expertise. So in India, they have appointed a agency called IRS, Indian Register of Shipping, that is working as a recognized security organization, RSO. So RSO in India is the Indian Register of Shipping. The function of IRS in India is to certify the security plan. When the ship is making a security plan, that is the ship company making security plan, or when the port is making a security plan, this has to be certified by the Indian Register of Shipping, that is what we call it RSO, appointed by DG Shipping. DG Shipping as authority, they cannot delegate the authority, they can only delegate the function. So one of the function to approve the security plan prepared by the organization, prepared by the ports or by the ships or by shipping company, can be approved by the Indian Register of Shipping. Okay, so that is the IRS. Now coming to the fourth one, Port Facility Security Officer, PFSO. This is the person designated by the Port Authority to liaison with the ship's security officer, or above you can say that is company security officer appointed by shipping company. So he has to liaison with the company security officer as well as with the DG Shipping to implement or to find out the security level and inform the concern from time to time. Then coming to the fifth one, that is the company security officer. You call it CSO. These are designated by the shipping company. A shipping company may have, let us say, fleet of ships, 10-15 number of ships. To have the security setup and to coordinate with each ships for ISPS, the company has to appoint a security officer, we call it CSO, Company Security Officer. Job of Company Security Officer will be to liaison with all the ship security officer of their company as well as with the Port Facility Security Officer to know what is happening in the port about the security, what level they are following, not only in this country, also in foreign country. So foreign country part will be taken care by the contracting government. They will pass it to the DG Shipping, and DG Shipping can circulate it to the PFFO and so on. So CSO and Port Facility Security Officer, PFSO and the CSO. So this is the job of the Company Security Officer. Next, coming to the Ship Security Officer, SSO. SSO is appointed again by the shipping company, and one ship security officer is placed on each ship. So there is no separate posting of the security officer, ship security officer. Some of the persons, some of the crew who is working on board ship, they have been designated. One person can be designated to work as a ship security officer. Mostly the retired naval person who are working on merchant ships, they are given the responsibility to work as a ship security officer because they know how to control or how to handle the firearms. So that is the ship security officer. This is the setup for the security under the ISPS. At top it is the contracting government, then DG Shipping, then Indian Register of Shipping as RSO, then Port Facility Security Officer, Company Security Officer, and finally that is the Ship Security Officer. Now when the organization, that is the ships or ports, are certified under the ISPS, we say they are the ISPS compliant. So DG Shipping through the audit can issue the ISPS compliance certificate to the organization. There are three types of certificate issued in India. The first one we call it International Ship Security Compliance Certificate, ISSC. This is issued to the foreign flag vessels. Second, we call it Indian Coastal Ship Security Compliance, ICSSC, that is issued for the coastal ships in India. And fourth one, we call it Certificate Statement of Compliance for Port Facilities. So that is SOCPF. This is issued to the ports which are ISPS compliant. So all the ports and ships are supposed to be ISPS compliant, and this is done through the audit system, ISPS audit, and they are supposed to update it because the certificate issued only for a limited period of time. This could be for 2 years or so, and after this is over or before this expires, they have to go for the recertification, re-audit, and then get the certificate renewed. So this is all about the setup of the ISPS security in India and certificate being issued to the agencies, to the ports and ships after the compliant. Now I shall discuss about elements of ISPS. Elements of ISPS means what are the things to be done to achieve the security of the port and ships as mentioned in the ISPS code. So first thing under the elements of ISPS is the security assessment. Assessment means to find out the need for security related to a specific risk. This has to be done by the experts of particular area working in the port or shipping field, on board ships or in ports. They have to carry out the assessment, what we call it security assessment. Assessment could be either quantitative basis or could be qualitative basis. Now, when you talk about the assessment of the security, it means you are talking about how to reduce the risk. Risk is a basically function of three things, that is the criticality, threat, and vulnerability. Criticality means it is the position of a person. In case of human being, it is the position of a person. Let us say, take the case of Prime Minister of India. So Prime Minister post is position is a critical position. This cannot be replaced. You can only replace the person, you cannot replace the position of the Prime Minister. So as long as position of Prime Minister is there, this position remains critical and there is always security threat to this particular position. Now second component of the risk is threat. Let us say there is threat from some terrorist organization, ISIS. Now threat will remain there as long as organization is there. You cannot have the 100% control on the threat, but you can have some extent, control to certain extent we can exercise, like banning the organization, then limiting their activities, arresting the people who are associated, that is the members associated with particular terror organization. Or sometimes the action can be taken like what the America did, killing the Osama bin Laden, that is the encounter like things. But those things are very, very rare and this will take time. So criticality cannot be changed and threat can be addressed to only very, very lower side, very, very small value. You cannot reduce the threat to zero. The third is the vulnerability. Vulnerability means environments which leads to threat to happen. Environment leading the threat to happen. Now threat from the outfit organization that he will kill the Prime Minister. Now how this can happen? This can happen through the environment, through the vulnerability. So this is the area where the control can be maximum. Vulnerability, it means let us say Prime Minister is going out. So the security people should be very, very careful. There should be always formation of security when he is meeting the crowd, rally, morcha, function. So people should be kept away from the Prime Minister. That is the job of the security people. That we call it controlling the vulnerability, environment which can invite the threat to happen. Same thing can happen to the ship also. Let us say ship belonging to particular country and country, let us say, had attacked some other country in past. So the people in that country which was attacked, they are against this particular super country. So they are waiting to take the revenge. So when they come to know there is ship of particular country passing through that area, they will try to attack. They make a plan to attack. And let us say this plan is leaked out to the ship. So what the ship can do, leaked out to the ship, not directly, through the contracting government and through the agencies, that is the what about the intelligence agency. So ship, instead of passing through that area, ship can take the other route. That is what the ship is trying to control the vulnerability, not trying to mix up, not trying to create the environment where the threat can happen. But remember, this is only a hypothetical example. Practically, it is just next to impossible for the ship to divert the route. But that is how we can just understand how the vulnerability can be avoided, can be reduced to minimum. So when the vulnerability becomes zero, then what is the risk? Risk is equal to criticality into threat into vulnerability. So vulnerability is zero, risk becomes zero. Security is very, very high standard. So that is what the assessment of security means. Now second is coming to the ship security plan. After assessment is done, after assessment you have to just find out, you have to just make a system in such a way how to control this particular risk. So to prepare a plan. So we call it ship security plan. To realize the security assessment, whatever assessment you have done it, how to achieve it, that comes the ship security plan. Then approval of the security plan by the authority. Third one. Fourth one is the implementation. We have to implement it physically. Then is the drills and exercise. Fifth one. You have to carry out the drills and exercise, periodical drills, periodical exercise to achieve the goal. Remember, drills are very important. Drills and exercise are very important. Without this, you cannot achieve the goal. Because emergency does not come every day. It comes only once a blue moon. When the emergency comes, you have to act. You can only act if you are used to this one. And used to this one, how you do it? By drills and exercise. Armed forces do not fight the war daily. This comes only once in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But they have to do the exercise regularly to prepare themselves. That is the meaning of drills and exercise. And then records. You have to maintain the records of drills, exercise carried, and also any breach of security taken place in the past. Then what are the security level changes from time to time. So all these things have to be done, has to be put in the records. Change of security, that is declaration of the security level, is done by the highest authority. That is on behalf of the contracting government, Government of India. DG Shipping will declare, or sometimes they can pass it to IRS also. So DG Shipping, being designated authority, can declare the security level, what level to be followed depending upon the level of the threat. So there are three security level number 1, security level number 2, and security level number 3. You will see it through the matrix now, what the security levels are. So these are the three security levels. We call them level 1, level 2, and level 3. Security level 1, security level 2, and security level 3. Description, what are the types of things happening? There is risk. In case of risk, what is the quantity of the risk? Under the security level 1, we say it is the normal risk. Risk is always there, this can never become zero. So we say it is a normal. Level 2, the risk becomes heightened, means it is more, risk is more than the level 1. Under security level 3, imminent, means most likely to happen. So that becomes the imminent. Security measures, you have to take it. In level 1, security level 1, minimum security measure to be taken. Under level 2, additional security measures to be taken. And level 3, specific security measure depending upon where the threat is now likely to happen. So specific information, specific measures have to be taken. Then time frame, in how much time this particular level remains. So level 1 remains always. If level 2, level 3 is not there, automatically the ships and port will remain at security level number 1. This can never become zero. Then level 2, security level 2 for a certain period of time. This could be for, let us say, 1 day, half day, or something like that. That becomes security level number 2. Security level number 3, limited period of time, very, very short time. When there is imminent threat, you go to security level number 3, and then from there, when the threat is over, you come back to normal. Remember, if you remain all the time, they try to remain in level number 3, then people become lethargy. They will not value it. So if it is for a less time, it can give more value. People give more value to level 3 to respond immediately if it is for a limited time. You can have the security level number 3, let us say morning 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock daytime. So 6 hours, good enough. If the threat is over, come back to level 2. Further reduce, come back to the level 1. So remain in level 1 only depending upon the type of threat going up. You can come to security level number 2 or come to level number 3. So that was the security level 1, 2, 3 common to both ships as well as ports. Now coming specific to the port security level 1. This is the level 1. So what happens? Personal screening, random 5% search, means people who are going to the port, we can have the security person can have a random search of 5% during the security level number 1. In level 2, you can increase to 50%. 50% of the people entering into the port area are supposed to be searched. Level 3, 100%. Each and everyone coming to the port has to be searched by the security person. So that is the level number 3. Access control means entry point, gate guarded all the times. Anytime you go to the port, 24/7, throughout the year, gates will be guarded. That is the lowest level. Level number 2, limited number of gates. If there are, let us say, 5 number of gates, limit the gate to only 2 number open, 3 will be closed. Close all gates with one exception in case of level 3. Level 3, then that is the highest level of threat. Close all the gates. Maximum you can open one gate for the people who are responding to security, they can come and go out. Waterfront, that is from the seaside. Ship is at the jetty from the seaside. One boat trip everywhere. In level 1, you can have one boat, security boat, which can just take a trip and see what is happening around, whether the other boats are coming, who are there. You can chase them, you can ask them and keep the port secure. In case of level 2, 2 to 3 trips per day. Pilot vessel escorted by the security staff. So one will be the person in the VIP launch or could be the speed launch and escorted by the security. There must be security people escorting the particular boat. Then in case of level 3, ship ready to leave within 2 hours. Here the ship will be given notice by the port that be standby. In case of some problem, you have to sail out within 2 hours. Cargo search. Cargo which is being loaded, unloaded, 1% general in case of security 1 and security 2 level, 25% of cargo can be searched. In case of level 3, cargo movement may be suspended. So no loading and unloading can take place during the level 3. That's why I say the level 3 should remain only for a very, very short time. You cannot keep it for a long time. This is also leading to the financial loss. Okay, ship will remain idle and there will be financial loss to the trade. Store search 5% during the security level 1 and level 2 25% check. Store means something coming to the port or coming to the ship. So she coming to the port security. What is coming inside the port to the store? 25% check during the level 2. Level number 3, suspend delivery. Nothing can be delivered to the port. We stop everything at the gate only when there is a imminent threat. Now same thing you can see for the ships also. Similar to the ports, there are 3 security level for the ships, level 1, level 2, level 3. In case of level 1 says control access to ship, it means the normal control for the people coming to the ship. Control the embarkation of the people coming on board ship should be controlled. Ensure only authorized person have access to restricted area and so on. So these are the level 1. In case of level 2, assigning additional crew to visually patrol the deck area. Some person should be assigned the duty on board ship to look to do the patrolling on the deck area during silence hour, especially in the night time. There is no work going on. Limiting access point to the ship. Point of the entry to the ship should be limited. Undertake full parcel search of the ship. If required, you take the full search, otherwise parcel search. So these are the things you have to do in level number 2. At level number 3, limit access to single control access point. It means during the level 3, The entry to the ship only should be from a single point. There should be no 2 point there. Grant access to those persons responding to the security threats. Who should be allowed to come to ship? Only those who are responding to the ship. No visitors, no ship general, not the labor gang coming for operation. Nobody should be permitted. Only people responding to the security should be allowed to enter into the ship. Close supervision of non-crew person. A person who is not crew, not part of crew. Like let us say some labor is working there from the beginning. Some people have come for maintenance of some equipment. So there should be close supervision on their activity. Suspension of embarkation, disembarkation. People should not be allowed to enter. People should not be allowed to go out. Suspension of cargo operation and evacuation of ship if necessary. No cargo operation to take place during the level 3, and if required, ship should be ready to sail out. That is all the different 3 levels of the security at ship. So with this, I finish the ISPS. In case of any query, please write to me at dn.maurya@yahoo.com. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can see the upcoming video without searching for it. That's all in this session. Bye bye.